This is an Ion VCR2PC, and it is just a player, so I guess more of a VCP. You got your controls here, power, tracking, eject. That's it. That's all you get. No display, no clock, nothing like that. And has a USB port for capturing your videotapes to computer. So this is kind of in that intermediary where you could get a DVD recorder and go directly to a DVD, but in 2010 DVDs are kind of on their way out a little bit, and I think some people were looking more just for something on their computer. So this offers that. However, doing some initial digging, it looks like, as with all capture devices, finding a driver for a modern OS is going to be a pain in the butt, because that's just how she goes. I've got stacks of Hopog and other capture cards that are completely useless unless I use them on an old XP machine, which sucks because they're actually really good quality, and it's not like analog video has changed. So yeah, I picked this up for 10 bucks, and let's take a look at it. I'm not going to go into detail on these front controls. It's got two speeds for fast forward and rewind scan. It's got slow motion and everything like that. Mr. Magnetoscope on YouTube did a video showing this machine, so I recommend you check that out if you want to see the actual VCR portion. I'm more curious in that part. Oh, hello there. You've caught me in the middle of this mess. Okay, so I've probably already recorded the intro, hopefully. This is the Ion VCR2PC. Ion's sort of a cheap company. They sold their stuff at Walmart, probably Amazon later and stuff. I don't even know. I'm very unfamiliar with Ion, and I really don't care. Anyway, this particular unit, I believe, was sold in the late 2000s. This one is from 2010. And the idea behind this is it's just got a simple VHS tape player, not recorder, and it basically just plugs into your computer and gives you some software to record your old VHS tapes and digitize them, record them using the DVD burner in your computer. Pretend this has a DVD drive in it. So how did I get here? Well, as I've probably explained in the intro, picked this up for 10 bucks, thought, hey, this is kind of neat. I've seen these around. I'm curious. So first off, what I want to show is the quality of this VCR playing directly hooked up to the TV. Actually, before I do that, let's look at the inside, because this kind of fascinates me. So you've got a standard VCR mechanism here. I believe this is a Daewoo. Mr. Magnetoscope did a video on this exact VCR, although his had a different mechanism in it, another cheap one. I think they just probably sourced from a few different suppliers and spec'd out this board to interface with it. It's a very basic board. What I find interesting is how simply put together this is. So let's start over here. Here is the switch mode power supply. All connectors. There's no soldered in cables. Like, this is a cable with a connector on both ends. And I don't know if you can see there, it's incredibly simple. Like, this is a super simple design here. The connector over here, this is your video, and it won't let me move. I don't know how well you can see that. It's your audio and video. It is labeled ground, audio out, ground, video out. It's just got these two little shielded cables, little ferrite core there, and then they go all the way to the front. Okay, now here is the USB capture device. Look at this shit. This is just a little circuit board, and it's got foil tape on the back, I'm guessing to pass EMI testing, and they just sort of fold it along the top here, I guess, to get it grounded. Super janky. So here's your USB cable going to it. Here's your video, and here's your audio. Now notice this connector here for video says composite video and power. there's only video going to this. This powers off of USB. So this device will power independently of the VCR being plugged into an outlet. This is basically an Ion, those little capture vid to PC things, just shoehorned inside a VCR. And I really do mean shoehorned. But anyway, you have the audio and the video coming from here, going to the front. It actually goes all the way to the front panel. And then you have the audio and video in here also going to the front panel. So what's at the front panel? This. This is a physical switch. This isn't a software switch. This is a physical switch that switches between the audio and video signal coming from the VCR portion to these RCA input jacks. Now, of course, this is a mono VCR, mono input on the front. But check this out. Let's take a look at the audio connection. That, to me, looks like a stereo audio connection, right? Red, white, and black. Pretty standard. And here's something else interesting. So you have composite video here. The vid to PC has S-video. Look at this unpopulated connector here. I don't know how well you can see it. It's got 2 traces going to it plus the ground plane. Now, do you think that might be the chroma, luma, and ground from S-video? I am going to test and find out later to see. Because, now we get over into the software. If I go to advanced settings here, oh god, this trackpad is just the worst. These were the worst. Oh, nope, sorry, not advanced settings. That's for picture quality. It's device settings I want. What I can do is select the input. And you go, okay, S-video. And it actually switches over to something. Now, obviously, you see there's nothing there, but I bet if I soldered a header to it, it would show me something. Is that it? That's the only option? Yeah, S-video composite. So I bet this could be modded to have S-video and stereo audio. Oof. Just slams it in there, doesn't it? Yeah, it's crap. Legs. I don't know how well this is coming off on the screen here, but it somehow both has a very soft picture and yet very noisy. Somehow the colors are both oversaturated and bleeding and yet washed out. It's not good. And this is an SP recording. Most people won't be trying to digitize an SP recorded tape. Let me pop in an EP recorded tape.
Your cappuccino. Well, you got it. Rich, creamy tasting coffee with the flavor of Italy. So you just love me for my cappuccino? To bring celebrate the moments of your life. Your Italian cappuccino.
It looks like shit. And I don't know if it's the input on this TV, because it's a flat panel, or if it's something in the VCR, but sometimes it actually acts like a capture device having problems. You'll get a bit of weird vertical jitter, or you'll get these weird specks on certain colors in a scene, and it's just atrocious. Everything about, but this is going through the video out on the back here. I mean, this isn't even talking about the capture device. This looks oversaturated. The capture device looks washed the hell out. So what I want to do is I'm going to take one of these commercials, record it in EP, and I'm going to play it on here and capture it here. Then I'm going to get that very nice Zenith VCR I have, set it to linear audio, play the same thing back, but captured through the front here. Then I'm going to get my usual capture device and capture that as well. Now, I believe this will only do 30 frames per second or 29.97, so you're not going to get the butter smooth 59.94 that the newer capture device can do. And also this video is in 30 frames per second, so you're really not going to see it anyway. I don't know, maybe I'll upload this in 60 frames.
Look at this.
Look at what?
This can't be right. Just $1.89?
Maybe they sent us the wrong side.
Introducing McDonald's All-American Meal. Our original cheeseburger, small order of golden fries, and small Coke for just $1.89 at McDonald's today.
Look at this.
Look at what?
This can't be right. Just $1.89?
Maybe they sent us the wrong side.
Introducing McDonald's All-American Meal. Our original cheeseburger, small order of golden fries, and small Coke for just $1.89 at McDonald's today.
Look at this.
Look at what?
This can't be right. Just $1.89?
Maybe they sent us the wrong side.
Introducing McDonald's All-American Meal. Our original cheeseburger, small order of golden fries, and small Coke for just $1.89 at McDonald's today.
Look at this.
Look at what?
This can't be right. Just $1.89?
Maybe they sent us the wrong side.
Introducing McDonald's All-American Meal. Our original cheeseburger, small order of golden fries, and small Coke for just $1.89 at McDonald's today.
Look at this.
Look at what?
This can't be right. Just $1.89?
Maybe they sent us the wrong side.
Introducing McDonald's All-American Meal. Our original cheeseburger, small order of golden fries, and small Coke for just $1.89 at McDonald's today.
Look at this.
Look at what?
This can't be right. Just $1.89?
Maybe they sent us the wrong side.
Introducing McDonald's All-American Meal. Our original cheeseburger, small order of golden fries, and small Coke for just $1.89 at McDonald's today.
Look at this.
Look at what?
This can't be right. Just $1.89?
Maybe they sent us the wrong side.
Introducing McDonald's All-American Meal. Our original cheeseburger, small order of golden fries, and small Coke for just $1.89 at McDonald's today.
You know, that wasn't as bad as I was expecting. Linear audio on this, not as good as the Zenith, but the Zenith had a bit of noise in the picture, which I've seen before. It's probably capacitors. There's that little high frequency noise, there's some bad filter capacitors, but overall this did okay. The files it creates are horrible for converting. I thought they were just MPEG-2, but I had to convert them in VLC to get them in my editor software, so just converted them to H.264, and that was no problem. But I mean, overall, using this at the time, it could be worse. The picture looks really bad when plugged into a TV and being used as a VCR, but the capture kind of hides a lot of the weaknesses of this VCR. Maybe they tuned the default settings to it, who knows? Typically when you're taking apart a VCR, the front panel is the first thing that you want to remove, but on this one it's stuck because of these audio and video cables here. They tuck under this board and are right there, very tight. There was a ground wire here that I removed, and that gave me a little bit more leverage, but I think I have to kind of pull those cables back. Okay, so very nice connectors, easy to unplug from the video capture board. The front panel connections, unplug on that side. There's the single ground terminal, and this was the only annoyance. This AV cable, this ferrite core was tie wrapped to a hole beside here to hold it in place. Very nice, very thoughtful that it's not going to rattle around, but the order of operations for how it was placed there to try and get my cutters around the cable to cut the tie wrap and not the cable was surprisingly annoying. It's minor, but it's annoying. So now that this front cover's off, we can pull out this VCR and take a look at what's actually part of this VCR board. So I'm going to pop this mechanism up next. There we go, folks. A simple machine. I mean, your mechanism's about as simple as it can get. I do not see a light stock. Nope, there's no light stock there. So what it's doing is it's monitoring. Okay, yeah, there's these two holes here. These square holes. Yes, okay. So this is kind of like that RCA that I tried to fix, which I believe was also a Daewoo. It does not have the light stock and the end of tape sensors. It has the two sensors that monitor the wheel speed, or the reel table speed. And what it does is, as it gets closer to the beginning, it acts similar to a modern VCR that does the very, very fast rewind and a flash rewind, or whatever you want to call it, and slows down towards the beginning or the end. This will do a regular speed, slow down real slow, and then just sort of stop when they stop moving. As soon as you stop moving, it stops. That's really hard on the tape. Like, you're constantly pulling on the leaders. I could see this snapping some older tapes. Not really a fan of this. I would almost prefer, instead of these, you have the traditional light tower and then the two sensors on either side. But whatever. Your rotary mode encoder switch. Now look at the components here. There's some capacitors, there's some resistors. There's one IC. Everything else is just passive. There's a crystal. Diode. I mean, there's not a lot. And on the back side, we've just got two, I don't know if these qualify as jungle ICs or full-on CPUs, but these will be the heart of the machine. These will do everything. All the logic control, all the video and audio processing and control of all this, everything, absolutely everything, down to two small ICs and this single board. And I think these connectors are even labeled. Look at that. Power LED. Let's look and see what this says here. Whoa. We've got power LED, power on LED, power off LED, rewind, ground, key 2, key 1, ground, fast forward LED, stop LED, play LED. That's it. I bet those keys aren't even connected to anything. It must. Okay, I don't know what the keys are, but yeah, I kind of respect that. Everything on this is labeled. Like, it's such, they spec'd this to be built from manufacturer A, right? And Daewoo or whoever built this is just a drop-in, right? Spec'd out where the connectors are. You have two headers that you interface with. The second header goes to the power supply, and that ground, that is that upside down? 14 volt ground, 6 volt ground. So M ground is different than the other grounds. I don't know what M would be. There's 14 volts and 6 volt. That's it. That's it. That's all you need. Wow. I'm just blown away by how simple this was brought down to. It just blows my mind. Mechanism, of course, it's all gear run except for your single belt. Everything's all lubed up. So you've got, I think I already talked about this exact design in that RCA video, but you have connector, connector, connector. That's it. So this would be the going to the rotary transformer on the video head for the video signals. That would be for your linear head, and this would be for your capstan motor. And then on the of course this won't have a fully raised head because it doesn't record. Yeah, of course. And then on here, oh, hold on. I didn't even have to unplug these. These cables go around. Oh, so this board does, so this does all the motor control. This does the head drum motor, the capstan motor, and right here, the loading motor. So yeah, so where is it on the main board? This is all your motor control. I have that right? Yeah. And this one here, which is there, is your linear head. And this is your rotary head. Holy crap. It's just, it's so simple. I'd love to see a schematic of this. Because it's still complex, don't get me wrong. But as far as VCRs go, this is just, I mean, the amount of effort and money spent into making it as simple as it can be, that impresses me. Now, of course, that simplification comes at a cost. And the cost is quality, obviously. Your video quality, your audio quality. I mean, it's going to be good enough, but it's not going to be great. Those imperfections that I was seeing on the TV, I mean, those were just down to a lack of video processing. A lot of the good machines just had so much extra going on to give you the best possible quality picture. And this doesn't have any of that. Let's pull this board off here. I just would like to commend the manufacturer of this. I don't know if it's Ion. I doubt it's Ion. Maybe it is. Maybe they contracted this out. But they put a lot of screws, a normal amount here. Well, even so, 3. That's a good amount. But where these connections are, they put a lot of screws holding this in place. Like the build quality, considering the cost it's been built down to, is not bad. And I have a lot of respect for just everything being so standardized. Labeled connectors, color code. These type of header connectors are very common. Just modularity. It's something you don't really see in a lot of these products. Oh, I missed a screw. Oh, really, I should just edit out what I say, but forget what I said about key 1 and key 2. I'm not thinking. All those connections were LED except for key 1 and key 2. And what this does is it takes key 1 and key 2 and uses all the front controls to provide different resistance values to ground. So there is obviously going to be some sort of floating voltage there with a resistance provided over here. And then every time you press one of these front keys, it's going to connect a different value resistor to one of the ground pins on here. So this will basically just be monitoring the voltage on some sort of a GPIO pin somewhere here to say like, oh, okay, you've pulled it down and created a resistor divider network between the resistance on here and on here. So you have like 6 volts and you have it going through 2 resistors, and the ratio of the value of the 2 resistors will give you the voltage in the middle, blah, blah, blah. I'm horrible to explain this stuff. You all know that. But yeah, so you basically have 2 wires, one for some of the buttons and one for some of the other buttons on the front. And yeah, this switch, this old school switch that I kind of like, you know, the retro like record players and like those Crosley Resurgence garbage retro revival, and they use those really crummy switches like for 33 and 45 RPM. It's modern crap. This switch is gorgeous. It's got this like brushed metal. I don't know if it's real. I don't care if it's real. It feels nice and it's aesthetically pleasing. And they even put a little felt cover to hide and sit around this. I mean, lots of respect for that. It's these little details I kind of like. And yeah, it just physically switches these over. It's a double pull, double throw switch. So it switches the audio and the video. Super simple. And then you, all you have is you have input 1, input 2, and then you have your your output, audio and your video here. Yeah. I like this. I think I like it because it's the kind of project I could put together. It's just, it's beautiful in its simplicity and the little things that they did with it. It's nice. And now we get to this, the heart of the operation, the capture board. And as I thought, all this is just a little bit of foil backed, like a plastic here. And they just had it wrap around on top there, and it goes and sits here, and this is a little bent tang along the bottom, so this grounds this back foil here. It grounds the bottom. So there's a piece of metal on the bottom here, again for EMI. So this can pass EMI testing and be FCC certified and all that. And I believe this ground just goes onto the front and ties into where does it go? Oh, it actually goes through some capacitors. So it goes through some capacitors. Hold on, let me follow this. Yeah, so this goes through 3 capacitors here. And you can kind of see 1, 2, 3. They all go off to different portions. One goes off to this header connector here and the USB jack. And then one goes to the ground on these AV jacks. And yeah, so it's all just kind of a neat way of grounding. So let's look at what chip this uses. This uses a TV Master TM6010. All right. So some interesting information. The Hopog WinTV USB 2 stick from actually quite a long time ago used it. And there is a wiki. Hold on. Ah, here it is. So this is a Trident. Remember Trident that made the old VGA cards? It's made by Trident. That's kind of cool. Oh yeah, it says right on here. Trident 04. Decided to use this as an opportunity to test this out that I picked up a while ago. What have I been doing with my life? It just holds the wires and you can solder them. This makes it so much easier. Oh my god, why do I always wait so long to buy the proper tools to make my life easier? My plan is ready to execute. I have built this monstrosity. I just cut this RCA cable in half and I found this, I've got a whole drawer of them, old CD-ROM audio cables from back in the day before CD audio would go over the 40-pin IDE connection. Back when 40-pin IDE was anyway, the connector on here, there was 2 different types of connectors that went on sound cards. This large black one and this small white one. Now the small white one's a 4-pin. So what I did is I just took a frickin' side cutter and I just cut off the extra bit on there. And this, do this one-handed here, actually plugs in just perfectly. If I can see what I'm doing here. There we go. And look, it even lines up. Ground in the middle and then audio on either side. Now, I don't know which is left or right, so I swear this was on purpose. I forgot to look which one is which. So what I'll do in my testing is I'll just mark one of these red. But the whole point of this test is to determine if this is a stereo device. I believe it is. I'm 99% certain it is. It's just a matter of if the driver looks for stereo. If you look at the connection on this front board, it takes the 2 wires coming from here. So you'll see you have red and white for right and left. And that goes over to this connection right here. You can see the ground is in the middle, audio's on the outside, and you see this trace here loops around one pin to the other pin. So it just shorts them together and takes the audio in on the front or from the VCR and passes it through both channels. I'd like to bypass that. Okay, so I'm feeding a blue screen into this from just a VCR over here, and then I'm playing some no copyright music from this song also exists in the YouTube audio library, and I'm playing it into my new fancy cable, and I've kind of got the front panel all half connected here. So let's see what that sounds like. I would consider that a success. You could hear the stereo separation. Really, I should have put a warning first saying use headphones, but yeah, that's definitely working. So that's good news. Now I want to look at this little header here, J4. So flip this around. That one right there. I believe this is for S-Video. Oh, you know what? It says YC there. Yeah, it's definitely for S-Video. Oh, I don't even need to speculate. I went and pulled this little header off some random scrap board, and it fits perfectly there. So I'm going to solder this in place, and I don't have a connection that plugs into that. Ironically, that CD-ROM audio cable I used would work perfectly, but I don't have another one of these. They're all in computers. I have others that have this, like the full big black connector, but the spacing of these pins is wider, so this won't work. So I'm just going to pull the pins out of this random cable I've got kicking around, and I'm going to use it on here. Well, you look at that. Check this out. Go device settings, S-Video. And if I go down, that's the blue screen from the RCA. That is the JVC. So let's take a look here. Here's my janky ass S-Video cable going to those pins. I added that header. This is a temporary job. I want to get a proper cable to go to this. I just chopped up a cheapy S-Video cable. This S-Video cable literally hadn't been unraveled. Anyway, and that's going to this. So now if I play, what? Sweet.
What do you mean, broken?
Coming soon to video. Hey kids!
Let's...
Coming soon to video.
Wow. That side-by-side comparison is ridiculous. It's a combination of S-Video obviously being slightly better, but also that JVC Super VHS playing a standard VHS tape, that VCR being just that much better. Yeah, that kind of impressed me. I still have some problems with this. The compression, when I was looking at some of the captures, you can see a lot of compression artifacts because it's used the old MPEG-2 compression, which is kind of unfortunate, but considering it's using a chip from like 2004 in a product designed in 2008, not super surprising. So, overall thoughts. It's not the worst. The build is okay. It's a very basic VCR mechanism, which kind of sucks if you're digitizing old home movies that are more than likely recorded in a slow EP format. But, I mean, honestly, not a lot of people had hi-fi VCRs when I was a kid anyway, so the tapes are probably crap anyway, and the people digitizing them are going to expect it to look like crap. Yeah, it only works with its own software, Yeah, the VCR mechanism is pretty poor, and if you were to use this as a VCR hooked up to a TV, it looks like crap. But for its intended purpose, which was put a tape in, record it onto your computer, and then use whatever software to, I don't know, upload it to YouTube or burn it to a DVD or just, back up the file somewhere. Things that would have made it nicer, in my opinion, is being able to capture RAW. But again, that's not really a consumer thing, that's me. Supporting hi-fi on the VCR, again, though, that's just me. I don't think people really care. Or at the very least, having a stereo audio jack on the front and an S-video jack, so when you switch this over to other, you can hook up a higher quality device. Like let's say you have a high 8 camera. I believe those actually had an S-video out on there. So you want to digitize it. Well, you get the extra features there. I guess they didn't do that. Probably a cost saving, probably because they didn't want to compete with the video to PC, but it would have been nice. Anyway, I'll let you guys judge for yourself. As far as those first captures I did, just comparing this to that Zenith VCR, I've kind of looked at them again, except, on full screen on my computer monitor. Yeah, this did a little bit better. The detail was a little bit cleaner. The bright sections weren't as washed out. It was a little sharper. And I think it's down to the settings, the default settings on this being tuned, or what's output on here being tuned to this capture device. I think they did a little bit of setup to kind of tune this in and make it look as good as possible. So to continue with my conclusion, I thought I'd load the software up on my Windows 10 computer. It's running, I believe, the latest version of Windows 10. And as you can see, it works just fine. Go and hit play on the VCR here.
We believe it was caused by overmining and insufficient safety precautions. The moon's
And no problem there. I've tried doing captures. So everything I did using that crappy little Windows XP laptop that was just sort of there because of its size will apply to Windows 10, no problem. Based on that information, yeah, for just the average user who just wants to digitize a bunch of tapes, I'd recommend this. You can hook up an external device. You can use the built-in VCR, which does, a good enough job. Or you can do the crazy mod that I did and get S-video and stereo. So yeah, that was just a bit of fun. It turned into a long video. Bye.
I can't stop coughing.
Take Dayquil.
Won't this stuff fix all that?
No, that won't do anything for your headache or your cough. Take the Dayquil.
Now give me a